dying while living and regaining our absolute freedom. What does it mean dying while living? We are not talking here about the death of the physical body, which is the one we are usually referring to, but the death of the illusion of I. So that is dying while living. So there are many paths, spiritual paths, to approach this, but they all come at the end to the same, transcending the illusion of I as a separate individual. That is dying while living. And it's not something terrible, maybe for the ego itself, but for our soul, that is the most beautiful things which we can realize, that we are never born and we never die as that eternal nature, Atman. So how to bring this in a practical way in our daily life? When we are open in that direction to learn this real death of the illusion of I, which is our real birth as Atman or soul, reawakening to our true nature. How to apply that in daily life? In truth, when we are sincere and open, every circumstances of life want to bless us for that purpose. Many times in a day, in our life, people by their attitude are triggering us, or even the weather, circumstances, deception, so many happenings are touching this me, this I as a separate individual. So each moment when it happens, we have always a choice, at least the illusory choice in this plane of time and space. But as long as we are identified, we need to use it. So let's use it in a practical way and understand that we have always these two options. When something is coming to trigger me, I can bump as me and react to the person, to the circumstance of life. Or instead of doing that, I can just, I don't need also to do the opposite, which is to hiding, the two posture, but just to stay straight, neutral, just, which means to be in this center line, Sushumna, a line in this presence, doing nothing as being. I often talk about that, but now bring this with this dying while living. To make sense of it is to realize I have the choice to just react like this, or just to say, stay here. And as a beautiful tool, human relationship, it can be a relationship with the weather or with any kind of circumstances. We are deceived by whatever in life, but let's take the example of relationship. So we all know and experience in most relationship. There is some exceptions. There are some exceptions in that. There is some golden karma relationship where it's really flowing and there is not much, or sometimes not at all, let's say that it exists. But for most of human relationships, there is this triggers which is coming from the attitude of the other one, whether he behave well, good, according to our wishes or not. So even the person is doing her best, just by her attitude we might be triggered. So anyway, coming back to the point is, I have choice in this moment and I can use this willpower, which is ultimately an illusory willpower, but as long as I experience it, I use it until it might fade away by itself in this realization. So to use it means when my partner is acting in a way which is not receivable for me, then I can react or like this, or just die in this moment. Dying in this moment means put my eye backwards, just observe, being present, holding the space, and it's unpleasant for the ego, who has the habit to either bump or hide. But to stay in the middle, the path of the yogis is not comfortable for the ego. But that is the way the I can be seen, experienced, and seen as an illusion, as fading away. Oh, it's only when I react like this or like this, manipulating, that I sustain this illusion of I. So if I want to transcend this illusion of I, it's up to me to stay in the middle line, in Sushumna, in this in-between where there is no manipulation, nothing, just being with this discomfort in this moment, and being with this discomfort where the ego is in a checkmate. So checkmate means it is seen. In this moment, this is dying, and if we do it moment by moment, then this is practical self-inquiry, using every moment, every situation to turn back our attention towards this one I who is in between the flow of life, which is blocking ego, not the practical ego, which is useful, but this sick ego, which is charged with so many memory, conditioning, wounds, is like an inflammation which is in our system. So this I, me, is spread out in our physical, subtle body, causal body, mind. There is an infiltration of this I in every part of our human body system. So to realize that, so this contemplation, which is a mix of the path of knowledge, self-inquiry, jnana, and devotion, bhakti, because when we put our attention in this moment, when there is this trigger coming, this discomfort, when I put my attention in this moment without trying to manipulate, I devote myself to this moment. So this is also bhakti, devotion, as well as self-inquiry, knowledge, jnana. They are two wings of the same bird, so both are working together. So every moment I may use this secret tool of dying while living. Because each time I react, I make, or like this, in whichever way, I confirm this sense of I, this sense of doership, which is covering what is behind, below that, all this fear, wounds, and so on. So to let this conditioning, vasanas, what is in our body-mind system, to let them being released, the direct path is to stay here and understand that all my life I've been doing this, going against, bumping out, or hiding, suppressing. So now I understand the path of the yogi of realizing my real nature is to stay here, to not run away. Not run away from discomfort or from comfort. To stay here, being, shifting from doing, manipulating like this or like this, is doing. In the between, Sushumna, between Indra and Pingala, these two sides, is to stay here. And from this beingness, then everything is allowed to be as it is, comfort or discomfort. And from this center line beingness, there is no preference between what is pleasant or unpleasant, comfort or discomfort, pain or pleasure. That's how we can learn to rise above the plane of pain and pleasure, comfort and discomfort. If we have this fire, this soul yearning for freedom, which is not something to reach anywhere in time and space, which is here now. So this is instant surrender. I may talk about this in another video, but instant surrender, dying while living, is the same thing. I surrender to every moment, understanding the real meaning of dying while living, and every moment is precious, and I value it because I don't see only with his eyes, which is looking out at the outer object, at this person in my relationship who is triggering me. I reverse attention towards the one who is triggered, me, and staying here. Nothing is wrong, nothing is bad, everything is happening for consciousness, which I am being. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. All is equally experienced in this unconditional love, unconditional acceptance by the consciousness which I am. So that is a shift from the identification as an individual trapped in this play of controlling, manipulating, liking, disliking, going in opposition, in fight with what is happening, to shift from that to, through this dying while living, shifting to that which is eternally living, this true being or self. So that's a practical application which we all are going through, except saint maybe, we have heard about self-realization, and this is still a hearsay. But our own experience is, if we have this awareness of being that ground of beingness, we surrender in every moment, then it's a mix of in this ground of beingness, letting experience, transformation is welcomed. There is nothing to block, it's often a trap in some spiritual paths, especially in non-duality, to say, oh, no to transformation, no to, because I'm perfect as that. And this can be a trap to be in another movement of rejection. There is nothing to reject or to accept from consciousness level. All is okay. So if something happens for the human being, if there is any release of vasanas, shift of energy, transformation, there's no problem with anything. To be totally open to anything which is happening. Thank you for listening. I will see you in another video soon. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for listening. Namaste.